About a year ago, I fell victim to a high pressure sales, and it taught me a lesson about how to get somebody involved so that they don't back out of the deal. It's a lot easier for somebody to go forward with something than it is for them to first dip their toes in the water. I had responded to an ad on Craigslist. They were looking for somebody to play an astronaut because we were coming up to the 50th anniversary of Neil Armstrong walking on the moon. This was July 20, 1969, and they were doing a film on that same day in 2019. And I had responded to the ad, and I had shown up in this guy's office, this agency in the western part of Seattle. So it's a good half an hour drive there. And I sit down with this guy, and he showed me all these other gigs that others had done. But what was really funny was that he showed me this folder full of checks that he had paid out to other people who had done gigs. And that's not what I was interested in. I wasn't doing this for extra income. It was, the moon landing was just a passion of mine. So my heart kind of sank a little bit. I had a good conversation with this guy, and he says, well, what do you think? Would you like to have put your profile on file so that we could look into the moon landing gig? I said, all right. And he said it would be, quote unquote, he said $350. And I apologize if I'm insulting anybody, but I'd never done that before, so I had no idea it was, he meant $350. I thought he meant $3.50. I really do. I hope I'm not insulting anybody, but this is just not my area. I'm a professor of software engineer. This is just a fun activity for me. As far as I see it, I went out to have fun that day. And so I give him my credit card, and he goes to another room to enter it into the computer, and he comes back with the receipt for me to sign, and that's when I see it was for $390 something. And I have this puzzled face on my face, and he said, "Oh yeah, we have to charge sales tax, obviously." I know, I don't know, no, it's not that. I completely misheard you. This is a little bit more than I want to spend. And he's going, what did you hear it as? I'm too embarrassed to tell him. I didn't want to insult his work. You know, I mentioned to him that I had been awake for a few days of looking at the moon because the anniversary is coming up. And I totally misheard. I apologize. It's not in my budget. I'll think about it some other point. And he's just pressuring me with the fact that the shoot for the moon is in a couple days. And you know, had he said up front that it was $350, I might have gone with it. I mean, it wasn't totally out of my budget or anything, but to start with some sort of dishonesty really was a turnoff for me. And so I told him, no, I'll think about it some other time. And I hand the receipt back to him without signing it. It was really frustrating because it took him a few days for the refund to go through. And as a result, I couldn't use the credit card for something else, if I remember correctly. I can't remember the details, but it was frustrating in its own right. Not to mention worrying if I would get the refund back. But it taught me that sometimes we have to reel people in before they make the decision, right? So one thing I really despise about Craigslist is that it used to be you could see people's names if they responded to your ad, right? It only showed in one direction. Now it doesn't show in either direction. What was really nice is that when somebody would email me and their names would show up, or sometimes their email address would show up, and I would see, you know, maybe they use their birth year or their graduation year, get a rough idea of how old the person is that I'm dealing with. Sometimes people use words involved in their hobbies in their emails, and it would give me a way to introduce myself to them. I could introduce them by name, I could introduce them by their hobby, if they had a name in there that involved maybe, for example, I'm recording this in 2020, maybe their screen name is "Stay 6 feet away from me" or something like that. I could use that as an opportunity to mention how I'll stay safe with my clients. And unfortunately, Craigslist has completely turned off that option. And but whatever I can, right? I'll try to research the clients ahead of time and make them feel like they're connected to me before they get a chance to completely walk away, right?